Um, Hello everyone. Welcome back to Narratives, Numbers, and Nonsense. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I was traveling, figuring schedules out, but we're back with an episode. This week it's going to be me alone and then some rotating guests. My friend Will here, who I call Mongo, he's going to come in and talk about some college basketball. And then later on, we're going to have TJ, another friend of ours from college, who's going to come talk about some football and baseball, bring some of their expertise in here. I'd say Mongo's definitely a college basketball expert. Trust his information, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm an avid college basketball fan. New York sports teams too. Big UConn basketball fan. We just suffered an unfortunate loss to St. John's, but we'll be back. In March. That's when we always peak, so we're good.
Yeah.
I am a Giants fan. Knicks basketball fan, but college basketball I think is a much better sport than the NBA. And yeah, pleasure to be here and excited to get into it with you, Labe.
Yeah, all right, cool. So we're I think, just gonna break down these big Saturday slate that's happening. When this releases, it'll be Saturday morning, so it'll be pretty fresh. Looking at some of the big matchups, what are the kind of the marquee headliners? Houston BYU, I'd say.
Got Duke, UNC,
Duke, UNC, Illinois, Michigan State, probably the three.
Illinois, Illinois, Michigan State.
So
Um,
I'd say those are the three headline games. Florida, Texas A&M is a pretty good one too. Let's start with Duke, North Carolina, because I know that we both like the same side here. I'm going with
mhm.
North Carolina plus 205 money line. I've got them projected to lose by point 0.5, so basically like a toss up. My buy points plus 5.5, which is the spread. I just prefer the expression through the upset here. I think it's a little bit narrative driven because it's Duke versus North Carolina, but yeah.
I agree completely. North Carolina is coming off three straight wins. And then on the flip side, you could say Duke has won what, how many? A
Yeah, I think
dozen,
they're 10-0
15 in a row.
in the ACC or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a narratives thing, but you know, I think that Duke is kind of due for.
It's
I
hard
think
to
that Duke is
not
due.
lose. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard to just not lose. That's
Yeah, I mean it's hard to pinpoint exactly, why a team that's been, as successful as Duke is going to lose, this game in
yeah.
particular on this night. But I really think that the values with UNC
Yeah.
plus 205 with this rivalry. I mean,
Yeah, I think they're just
we
positioned
we've
well.
also in years past, it almost feels like the better team has lost most years. I think, the
In this
Zion team
matchup, you're
lost.
saying?
Yeah, in the Duke UNC
Interesting.
rivalry. I think in 2017, 2018, when Duke was number one in the country for practically the whole season, I think they definitely lost at least once to UNC, maybe even twice, but I would definitely not be surprised with a UNC
Good. All right, so
loss.
we're both aligned there. Yeah, I'd play like I'd risk like a half unit to win a unit on that. Get a little juice going. Baylor, Iowa State. I know that you have one play. I have another. I've got the under 151
Mhm,
and a half. It's at the top end of my
mhm.
projection range, and you were saying that Baylor has kind of played to slow pace, especially against good defenses like Iowa State is in their away games this season.
Mhm. Yeah, and yeah, especially on the road. I mean, just taking a look at their last three road games, they played at West Virginia, and I think the final score is 63, 53. Uh, and then at Cincinnati, a few days before that, 67, 57. At Kansas, 80, 62.
Yeah.
Uh, but the under is your play. My play in that game, I think I like a sprinkle on Baylor money line.
It was like 960, nine
Baylor,
fifty, something like that.
yeah, plus 960, so
Juice it up.
careful with it.
Go
Tread
like
tread
point 1
lightly,
units
but
to win a unit. That's very fair risk. Something like that. Yeah.
yeah,
I like
but
it.
it's just a very volatile game. I mean, I don't think either of us would be shocked if Iowa State, wins by 20 points, 21 points. I think the spread's what, 15 and a half?
Yeah.
Looking at
Yeah,
15
and
and
like
a
my
half right now.
model has -19, so like I said, I lean Iowa State, but I'm not playing this, and I agree with your way of looking at it because I've got the spread range is from -12 to -26. Like this is so volatile. So if I look at it one way, it's a blowout or a money line on the underdog is the best way to play this game. I agree with you there. Yeah.
Right. I agree. And Baylor's coming off back-to-back double-digit wins, getting hot, and I mean, they certainly have the talent,
Yeah. Still
to hang
talented.
with Iowa State. Um, so I do kind of have that game on a little
I
upset
like it.
radar. Iowa State has dropped a couple games this year to teams that they were heavily favored against.
Yeah, and you've
So it's
got a
not
little bit of a
completely out of
baked-in
character.
hedge on a tail there, because I think if Baylor gets hot, that's kind of how this under breaks, right?
Hmm.
But we'll
Hmm.
see.
Yep,
Yeah, I like
that's
that.
a good way to look at that.
What's the
Yep.
Oklahoma State Arizona is another one I think where I'm looking at the under, you're looking at the underdog. Um,
Hmm.
I've just got a really tight projection on this one, 160 to 165. So this is a pretty confident play for me, probably like a strong lean. Baylor, I'd play a half unit. This I'd play 3/4 of a unit under 168 and a half. But I know that you're looking at the Oklahoma State side.
Yeah, I'm definitely on Oklahoma State this game. I mean, getting 19 and a half points, Arizona is the number one team in the country. I'm a big UConn fan, and it's easier to say after they
Yeah,
just lost to St. John's. But
but Arizona's
Arizona
unbeatable.
has been consistently the best team in the country. But what I will say, they seem to have gotten a little bit tighter. I mean, you saw at Arizona State, they pulled away late. They won by 13 points. Oklahoma State is a lot better than Arizona State. Uh, Oklahoma State's weakness has been road games. They're much stronger at home, and they will be playing on the road. But this is
You
still
know,
a
Nathaniel,
team
it's
that.
funny. In my metrics, Oklahoma State has a positive away adjustment. So maybe looking at the raw numbers, they're a weak on the road, but they've been playing better than spread expectation relative to Arizona.
Hmm,
Yeah. So maybe not
hmm.
to be too scared there about that.
This
Sorry.
is a team that 2 nights ago just beat BYU.
Yeah.
At home. They're clearly capable of hanging with, the top level of talent as Arizona,
Another
and
thing,
they're just so
they get an
great.
adjustment upward. They play well up to top teams also. So this is a good spot for them in terms of what they're good at playing up
Mhm,
to competition. So and you're getting a
mhm.
big, what is it, +21? What was it? Plus
I
20?
think it opened at 21 and a half, and I'm looking at,
19 and a
19
half
and a
now.
half right
So
now.
yeah, I mean
There's just
people
so
are
many
on the same side as
ways
you.
that yeah, there are just so many ways that 19 and a half can hit, against a team that can play with, the highest level of
Yeah, you
talent.
could be down the whole game and
If
still
they have
cover
the
that. Yeah.
confidence going into the game, and Arizona has been a little tight recently. They kinda not
They
eked
haven't,
out,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. They win, but they haven't just dominated, is what you're saying. I mean, they
Mhm.
don't. As long as you're winning every game and you're in the conference they're in, you're going to be number one. So they don't need to really blow teams out of the water
Right,
to prove anything. Yeah, I agree.
right.
Houston, BYU. What were we leaning here? Over, I think. I've been bad with
The over.
overs. You said you're not an overs guy, so tread with
No,
caution.
I stick to spreads. I feel like I'm just not a great
I'm
over-unders
an
bettors.
unders guy, but we lean the over here, but maybe let's just call it a lead and leave it at
We're
that.
not the most credible, but, yeah, I still kind of feel, maybe it's false confidence, but
Just the
BYU's
BYU
defense
numbers,
is
right?
atrocious. BYU's defense is atrocious, and their offense is electric.
Yeah.
I mean, and this isn't one of the better defensive Houston teams, even though recently they've been so
But
hot and
what
have been
if
able
they're
to hold.
good enough, especially with Kelvin Sampson, to clamp Debansa enough to not let BYU score 80 points, 70 points? Like I see that path. That's why I'm like I've been bad with overs. I see the path to limiting the star scorer and like I don't know. I don't love the over, but I lean the over. Is kind of like how I see it. Are you
Mm,
think that's a
that's
play
fair,
or are you
but
staying on a lean?
yeah, I mean, because even if they do find a way to clamp Debonsa, which by the way will take more
Yeah,
than
then they
one
have
player.
Saunders too, right? Richie
They
Saunders.
have Richie. They have three players who average 18
Oh,
plus
and then
points per game.
what's his name? The other NBA
I
prospect.
forget. I'm like trying to pull it up right
He's got
now.
like a super
Uh,
normal name, like super like vanilla ass name. Robert something like something that
it's
Robert something the third. Isn't that like Robert Wright the third?
yeah,
Yeah, Robert Wright the third. It's like sounds like a
yeah,
president, dude. Okay, so you like
yeah.
the
We
over there. You're gonna play that, you think?
yeah, I am. I mean, I just think that there isn't much you can do to clamp BYU's offense. You know, you try to
Fair
clamp
enough.
Devonta, and they're just gonna score through Saunders or Wright.
Yeah, there's some really prolific scorers here. I see where you're coming from. I guess to me, it's just emotional bias of like I think I'm 3-10 on overs or some shit this season, so it's like, but yeah,
You're
small
due.
sample.
You're due.
Okay,
That's what that means.
I'll back it as a lean. St. Louis is another one that I highlighted as a lean. You said you don't really follow A10 too much, but like they're just so fucking good. My problem here is just like overs, fat minus spreads have not been good to me. It's minus 23. I've got it projected minus 31. So it's like, yeah, like we should play it, but the heavy
Mhm.
minuses have just not been friendly to me. So I would just call that a lean. Like
LaSalle blows too. LaSalle's
this how
terrible.
blows. Like so like if you're looking to
Yeah.
build a parlay, this is a great game to maybe bring that down to 19 and a half. Just, cushion a little bit. Look at that.
Mhm.
What else? Utah, Kansas, I didn't really care. Gonzaga, you had well,
Seton Hall Creighton is another game that I've been looking at. Um, I mean, Creighton has one of the worst defenses in the Big East, if not the worst. And Seton Hall has, one of the best behind UConn and St. John's, I'd say. Um, and this Creighton team, as of late, has looked awful. I mean, they let up, I think, uh,
yeah, defensive momentum is one of the worst in the country. So
I
this is a .75, like strong unit, strong lean type of play from me. I
mhm.
agree with you.
And Seton Hall, their weakness this year has been their shooting. Um, their defense has always been solid, but a few times, like just this week against Villanova, they I think were 1 of 17, 1 of 18 from three, uh, and
When they lose, they don't lose
also
by a lot. Like it's always close because their
Mhm.
defense is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So what
yeah,
do you say?
agreed. And well, Creighton's defense against the three ball has been awful.
Not
I mean,
good. So it's not just a luck thing, like you saw it. Like they have not put pressure on the arc, like is what you've seen in the
uh-uh.
games. Okay, yeah. I mean, so I mean, I love seeing Hall here. I think we're both on that. Like, any other sides we're on, or is it just my totals that we have left? You got any other sides? I have a couple totals left. Gonzaga.
Okay,
Gonzaga.
this is more of a feel bet, and I know that I think it disagrees with the model, but
Mhm.
I like Gonzaga to blow Oregon State out of the water. Um,
Yeah. My model
I
doesn't
mean,
have it out of the range, so it's not a play for me to take Oregon State. It's just like my model leans Oregon State, so I'm not against you here totally.
Oregon State is just a, far farly inferior team. I think they lost by 30 to, a St. Mary's team, that has more of that talent. Gonzaga's obviously coming off the very upsetting loss at Portland.
Portland, yeah.
But as you had talked about
Portland's a better
before,
team than Oregon State. Like, just saying,
Portland
they're better.
can be a dangerous team. But now Gonzaga, they're in a position where their margin of victory matters, for their
Yeah,
seeding because they're
I'm
not.
looking at that. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. They could be a 3, a 4, a 5, all depending on. Yeah, they're in the
And,
mix there.
they have one more game against St. Mary's, or, two more if you want to count, when they play each other in the finals of the Western Conference tournament. And those are, there are only two notable games
Hmm.
left for the remainder of their
Hmm.
season. So,
I'm looking right now at the schedule.
their seeding, their margin of victory matters. They're coming off. this loss, I don't think that they're going to let off the gas against an Oregon State team that is just simply outmatched,
Okay.
and
What's that spread? Minus
they're going to
17
win
and a half. You like?
this. 16 and a half is what I see.
16 and a half. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I think my model had the under here. I think I'm 0 and 4 on Gonzaga unders. I think my model is broken. Gonzaga doesn't play defense. So I'm not going to take it, but it says under. Utah State, Wyoming. I highlighted Utah State as a lean here, but it's super volatile game. So I would look at maybe playing a blowout alt spread like minus 19 and a half just to limit your
Mm.
exposure. I don't know if you don't really follow the Mountain
No,
West, do you?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't.
You're a Big East and major conferences guy. Ole Miss, Texas. I think I'm going under here. Do you have that line? Can you find that line? I have a 150 as my
No,
projection. I think that's under.
that's over.
Oh,
The line's 146 and a
I'm going
half.
over here. I'm going over here. I like Texas's offense to stay hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good at home. Well, it's 144 and
Texas
a
is one
half.
of the more slept on teams in the country,
I lean them. I
I
think they're
think.
minus 12 and a half. What's the line? 144 and a half, you said?
146 and a half.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, that's only a lean for me. Oh, wait, I mean, you might be getting a worse line than I was finding. Hold up. Let me verify this information. Okay, 145 and a half if you go to bet 365. All right, whatever. Yes, that's a play
Mm.
for me, like for a half unit. So I think that's everything. To recap the college basketball picks, right? You don't got anything left?
Just one other pick that I would toss in there would be Nebraska minus
Ah,
12 and a
yes.
half.
Yeah, my model's a lean
Um,
there too. Minus 15 is my projection. Why do you like that?
well, I just think Mast is going to be, his last game against Illinois, I think he was two of 10 from the field, missed 8 out of his 10 shots, but he's just coming back from the flu.
Yeah,
2 days
conditioning
prior
at
he
full
missed
go.
he missed the Michigan game because of illness. So it's hard to imagine that he
Shoot some rust
was
off.
100% was close.
Yeah,
If he was sick enough to miss the biggest game of the season, I bet 2 days later he was still feeling it.
yeah.
And this Rutgers team they've actually been able to hang tight
Their offense has gotten
recently.
better, but they're still
Mhm.
shit. They can't defend.
And for Nebraska, I mean, playing Rutgers is going to feel like a breath of fresh air after just playing Michigan
And
and then
losing
having to
two in a
play
row, right?
hot Illinois. Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row against,
Yeah,
two of the
I
better
like your
2
spot here. I
out
like
there
your spot
teams.
here. I agree. I like it.
So I like Nebraska. 12 and a half is a lot, but I would still take that.
Yeah, it is. I've gotten
So,
burned by those big road spreads a bit, so that's why I don't love it. But I agree with you there. So like let's recap. This half unit on the Baylor Iowa State under half unit on the Oklahoma. Sorry, 0.75 on Oklahoma State Arizona under. North Carolina one to win 1 unit on North Carolina's money line, and then half unit on the over on Ole Miss Texas, and 1 unit on Seton Hall spread. And then your picks are North Carolina money line, Baylor money line,
mm,
Oklahoma State spread, Nebraska spread, Gonzaga spread, and Seton Hall spread, right?
yep,
In Houston, you like
yep.
over.
Yeah, I would should I say like the ones that like I'm most
Yeah,
confident
yeah. If you
in?
if you
I mean,
want to
I'm
give sizing or confidence, but otherwise, I just assume everything's to win a unit just for sizing.
yeah, yeah,
But like
yeah,
we're
I'm
we're
good
just
with that.
giving plays like you. We're not here to tout strict following. You guys like if you're following these pictures, you're going to size however you want to size. So these are our picks. We
Mhm,
got a lot dug in there on a pretty fat slate, so it should be like I think 6, 7 picks from each of us. Um, yeah, put some parlays
mhm,
together maybe with some of the leans. Like we talked through a lot of stuff there. So you don't just have to bet like exactly what we said to bet. You can construct from kind of what we were talking about and figure out what you like. But yeah, thank you for coming
mhm.
on the show and talking some college
Yeah.
basketball. Hopefully we'll have you
Thank you for
back
having
again.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Gabe. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, a lot of fun, and just bummed that that Tom couldn't make it.
All right, so now we're gonna transition here. I got TJ, another one of our friends from college. He's more of a expert on golf, baseball, hockey. I'll let him fully introduce himself though. So TJ.
What's up, guys? My name's TJ, as Gabe said. Big Orioles and Ravens fan, Caps fan, just everything Baltimore sports. I wouldn't consider myself a diehard, but I'm very emotionally attached to all of these teams, which might be at my dismay, but hey, let's talk
Yeah.
some ball.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So he's gonna come on here so we can break down the Super Bowl, have another side and perspective on that. And then he's a big MLB guy, and we haven't talked any baseball yet on this show. So we're gonna do a little bit of like off-season recapping and getting ready to make some predictions for this MLB season, which I'm excited for. But first, we're gonna get into the Super Bowl. We got Seahawks and Patriots playing in Levi Stadium, so 49ers Stadium, the electromagnetic field. Got Seahawks -4.5. It opened at -4.5. It stayed there the whole time. Total sat at 45.5. I'm not sure. I thought I saw it come down to 44.5 at some point since the opener, but it's back at 45.5 right now. The money line and spreads it's basically stayed the same the whole time. It's like shaded slightly towards the Seahawks, and I think we're expecting it to maybe do that more as the limits increase right before, like as we get closer to the game and like some super large $1 million sharp money continues to come in. But other than that, like expecting a decently low scoring Seattle controlled game is what Vegas' script is here. But what are you seeing in this game? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least the first half of this game is going to be dominated by the run defense. Both of these teams just have great run defenses. I also think there's a chance maybe the Seahawks just come out and start passing the ball right away. It might not be exactly what the Patriots are expecting. Mike McDonald might just want to
with the pass game, but I agree with you on the Pats side that they're going to need to lead on the run early and establish the run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one interesting thing I was seeing is like the EPA stats. I know you were saying, God, that doesn't really make much sense, but the Patriots since like week 9, including the playoffs and not garbage time, have better offensive EPA than the Seahawks and slightly worse defensive. But in terms of EPA, this is basically an equal matchup, which I thought was interesting because that's not really the narrative like we see or kind of think. I don't think in terms of how this game goes. I kind of think of the Seahawks as the better offense, like pretty clearly to me. But that's something interesting to think about.
I think it's a bit shocking that the Patriots EPA stats are better since week 9, just because I mean we've seen obviously the Patriots are playing better defenses.
Mhm.
That's a given.
Yeah.
But we've seen the Seahawks put up 41 points, 30 plus points week after week, and the Patriots the last 3 weeks I think have put up 18 points a game.
It was like 10-7,
which is
like I don't know, pretty low, 17 something, I think, low scores. Yeah, 16-3, 20,
So maybe
16, 10-7. So speaking of low scores, I was looking, so the total 45.5 in this game. I'm leaning the under. I think that's kind of the key number. Like 44.5, I probably wouldn't be taking it, but 24-21, 27-17. I don't really see this game going higher than that. 28-17 doesn't sound right. I don't think the Seahawks are going to get 4 touchdowns. They're very comfortable kicking the field goal, not going up for it on 4th down. The Patriots don't give up that many explosive plays. Like I think the Seahawks are going to chip away here. So I like the under. Like I just read the Pats playoff scores went to totals. Obviously the offenses they were playing were horrendous, and this is a complete step up in competition from whatever Stroud was doing, the no O-line Chargers, Stidham, right? But 19, 44, 17. Obviously 19 and 17 are kind of outliers, but like I don't expect a ton of scoring here. And then Seahawks scores, I think they were higher, but like I was saying, like you were saying, I mean, these are both really good defenses, and I expect them to suffocate. And yeah, the Seahawks haven't been that much higher. Sorry, they just played the Niners, and it went to a total of 47. There was only them who ran up the scoreboard.
And I mean, not only is it the defenses, but also these defensive-minded head coaches. They're gonna come out, be super aggressive, at least right off the bat. I think, honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the first half is going to be a little bit lower scoring.
Maybe a
potentially until
to be higher scoring than the first
potentially
half.
until a big turnover happens or something causes one of these two teams to get really good field position.
Like first half or second half to score more than the first half line, which usually like there is, but I'm not seeing it really quickly right now. You could probably find that. I kind of like that angle. Like I assume you do from what you were just saying, but maybe look at that. In terms of getting into some like player props here and like how this is gonna go down, I've already got like a few picks I like. I know you're not as much of like a degenerate gambler as I am, so I don't know if you've got really anything yet, but
No, I got my picks as we've discussed.
okay. But I'll start first. I've got like Hunter Henry. I took over 37.5 receiving yards. I don't know if that's moved yet. I thought it would come up to like 39 or 40. Let's see here. Yeah, 40.5. So there's some CLV. I love to see that. So I grabbed 37.5. This is not really totally my own play, but I was just listening to some podcasts and stuff, and a lot of people saying like he's played to the matchup. Like when he's playing in a game where you probably don't expect the passes to be funneled to him, he's ghost. When he is in a game like where you expect it, he goes off. And so this looks like a pass funnel from the Seahawks, one of the top in the league. Keep it over the middle. Go to your, sure-handed tight end. I expect Hunter Henry to go over 37.5 yards. I don't know what you think of that, but
Yeah, I tend to agree with the yards more than the targets or the receptions. I'm looking at his game logs currently, and he hasn't been getting as many looks, shockingly, in the playoffs that he did
right.
at the end of the
It's a
regular
bit of a
season.
buy low.
Yeah. But I mean, the red zone production is there, so he might be a guy that I target for an anytime touchdown.
I like it. What's that? Like 200? 240. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I like Hunter Henry touchdown.
Yeah.
That's a good play. Little play from TJ there, maybe.
And what I'm also noticing is I don't know what his longest reception is at currently.
I think I was looking
But
at that, but he gets long ones.
when he catches the ball, he's catching it for 18, 19, 20 plus yards. I think that might
I
be
think I might have looked at that, but I think the Seahawks
Yeah.
just like scared me from doing any of that shit. Just because I don't know, I feel like they do a good job limiting that. But he is getting a lot of long receptions. That is true. So that's why.
should we talk a little bit about injuries and what we're seeing?
Yeah. What injuries? How's that you think impacting anything in props? Maybe.
Yeah, so obviously we mentioned Charbonnet. I've seen circling Twitters about Imanwari. We'll see what
I
happens
saw
with that.
like Twitter doctors were saying he was putting weight on it. Looks good. Coaches said it looks good. I think he's like pretty full go. But I don't know.
And I mean, it's the Super Bowl, so adrenaline's running high. These guys are
They're
going to
gonna
play.
have that fucker on drugs, man. If he needs to be on drugs.
Yeah, yeah. If he needs the Perk Rogers treatment, like he's going to get the Perk. I guess on the other side of the ball, the Patriots have a couple guys who are banged up just from the last few games in some tough conditions. It looks like Hunter Henry has some sort of injury. It doesn't say what it is. He's marked as questionable. I assume he's going to play anyways. Same thing with Harold Landry, also Mac Hollins, who's been one of Drake May's favorite targets. Maybe it's because he loves the cold and being barefoot in the cold.
I thought Mac Hollins is good, is full go. What's the injury report looking like on him?
Torso, so maybe like oblique or something. I'm
So
sure he got
maybe
hit
not full
hard in the
capabilities.
Broncos game. Yeah,
Okay. Is that it?
looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah, Landry. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that like the Mac Hollins thing. I don't know how to look at. I put his receptions in my parlay, but I think that might help. Like, I guess the Diggs look I had, which I know that you have a little bit of pushback on, but I put out Diggs plus 850 to like lead the game in receiving yards, and I think the logic here was Jackson Smith-Njigba is like minus 170, which is over 60% odds. I think like is over a 60% chance to lead the game, and that's just like too much. Like for a stat like this, where it's who leads the game in receiving, and the Seahawks are expected to be leading and not in a passing script, like. The odds for no one, I don't care if it's like Jesus, should be minus 170 to lead the game in receiving yards.
No, I see that. And I also I like the line where it is at what plus 800 or whatever it is. But the only reason I think maybe to stay off is just because of the amount of targets that Drake May has on that offense. I think even Ramondre has been getting targets as of
Yes,
recent.
Ramondre
So
led them in receiving yards a few games ago at 75 in first round wild card.
Yeah.
So
I'd expect Drake May to distribute the ball. He seems like he's kind of mature in that way. He's able to distribute the ball rather than just throwing to Diggs
I
every
see
play.
that. I think I'm going a little narrative here. Like it's a bit of another buy low, and like Diggs has been quiet in the playoffs, and then he's also like, if you look at his game logs, it's boom or bust. It's 100 plus or like sub 40, sub 50, and he had 5 or 6 of those. So I'm just kind of like, hey, this is a guy who's like, I'm going a little personality driven here. Like, you know how Diggs is. Maybe he wants to put on a show in the Super Bowl because he's being written.
Oh, I'm absolutely certain he does. He'll have those guys
wants
ready to
attention,
run through a
man.
wall in the pregame.
Yeah,
So
so I'm buying
it's
a little
Diggs.
bit of a narrative here with that one and just playing the second shortest odds at plus 850, which is crazy to me. But I agree, like it's it's thin, obviously, because it's like he could pass to everyone. There's a lot of distribution there on that team. It's not JSN's like
Right.
the cornerstone of the offense on the other side. So I see what you're saying. But my last prop I was talking about Drake May. Anytime touchdown. I don't know if it's come down already. I got it at plus 355 like a week ago. It looks like plus 280 here at bet 365. But I was kind of fucked because I was going to say my price for this is 275 to 300. So like probably don't play this anymore. But I think he's going to use his legs. So maybe look at the rushing attempts or rushing yards. To me, the best price expression was the touchdown. I think it's a better than 22% chance, which is what the implied odds were. I think it's more of a, like I said, 1 in 4 chance plus 300. But maybe look at Drake May use his legs here.
I think maybe it's worth a sprinkle. And also, do you know if does he get involved in the tush push type plays on the goal line?
I don't know actually. I don't really think they do that, do they? I thought they just have double
I don't
power
know.
backs, so they just like run it in. That's what I thought. But I'm not
Probably
totally
just run
sure.
it with Ramondre at that point.
Yeah, they got
Ramondre's
2
kind
power
of
backs.
a bulldozer.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna use his legs. And like you were saying, injury, like it seems like he's full go, but he's got his shoulder thing maybe. So you never know. Like throwing, make some scripted plays, scripted runs, especially against the Seattle defense. Like you want to get creative against arguably the best defense in the NFL. That's usually the types of spots where we see like weird shit happen near the goal line. And Drake May, yeah, I expect him to maybe take it outside on a planned run when they're expecting, up the middle, right, from the running back, and you get good odds on that. It's a good sprinkle. I think that mostly covers like my bets. I had a parlay I threw together as Holani 2 receptions because I think they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna kind of use him where they used Charbonnet in the passing game, and Kenneth Walker's gonna need some rest.
Kenneth Walker can't play every play.
He's gonna need
He's
rest.
gonna be out.
It's not, yeah. So I took his receptions. I saw a play that I thought was interesting, which was parlaying like it was like Seahawks spread, Kenneth Walker rushing yards, and Holani rushing yards, and you get a little bit of negative correlation payout. But the idea is like of Kenneth Walker's feasting, they're gonna need to rest him, and Holani's just gonna come in and get like 10 yards. And I like that idea. I didn't play it.
Yeah,
My
I guess that kind of goes along with the Seahawks winning the game script, keeping it on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, that works for like boost 3 legs, but my parlay is the Holani 2 receptions, Mac Hollins 3, and then Kenneth Walker to have an anytime touchdown. And that's paying like, I don't know, something pretty good. Figure out what that is. But
should I talk about my favorite anytime touchdown?
Yeah, give us some picks. I'm done with mine.
Cool. So there's an NFL touchdown jackpot on FanDuel. It gives you the share of $6 million, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll end up getting like 12. But I really like Rashid Shaheed. He's the fastest player on the field at all times. And I think
what's the jackpot qualification?
So you bet on an anytime touchdown, and then if they score the first or the last touchdown, you get a share of that big payout.
For the DK, I think it's the longest touchdown or something. But either way, I sent out Rashid Shaheed for that. So Rashid Shaheed for the promo, I'm totally online with. I agree. Big upside.
Definitely. I think part of that is the fact that he returns kicks and punts. He could always break one like he did in their first playoff game. And then I think in terms of their offense, a lot of the focus is going to be on JSN. as it should be. So I think some room is going to open up for him. And then I also have Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown as well.
Because they're going to shade the attention
just for those
over.
goal line. Yep.
So I like that because that's when teams get the most scared of the number one target. Yeah. What's that pay? The touchdown on Kupp?
So the Rashid is plus 360, and then Cooper Kupp is plus 260. Maybe because he just had a touchdown in the last game.
But yeah.
I think he had one or two touchdowns against the Niners, and then
If you could
maybe
get
had a
TD
touchdown in
boost
their
or
first
something,
game.
though, I like because I was kind of hoping you were say like 300 or something, but I do like the angle like for sure. The one thing is like you got a little bit of cannibalization, but also it helps that Shaheed can get his touchdown on a punt return. But like yes, you do have two receivers on the same team, so I like it because you're playing one for the promo and you're playing just one as a bet, where you can boost the bet. But if you're just playing these no promos, I wouldn't straight bet both of them just for like other people. That's how I put it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think that's about it for NFL.
Also completely unrelated, I just realized I have Diggs to have the most receiving yards.
Oh, so you trailed my shit. Let's go.
Yeah, I trailed it. I completely forgot that I trailed it.
Before we move to MLB, I'm trying to find my the odds on the NFL parlay I sent out. I'm checking really quick on my Twitter. Okay, there it is. Yeah, Kenneth Walker touchdown, Mac Hollins 3 receptions, George Holani 2 receptions is plus 645. So it's like pretty good payout. Pretty
I actually
juicy
really
for
like
3
that.
legs.
Good odds on that.
Good odds. Obviously it's kind of like 3 different paths, which isn't what you always want in a parlay. I usually prefer to have one script, but you're getting a good payout for it. Sprinkle a little bit. It's a 50% boost. Like, why the fuck not? But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up for the Super Bowl talk. We're going to get into MLB next. And cars are outside doing stuff. Okay, yeah, so big baseball offseason. It's kind of coming to a close here. I think there's still some free agents on the board, a few last minute deals that'll come together, but a lot to recap. And I personally have not, like, baseball is my sport usually, but like I have not really been paying attention that closely in this offseason. I've gotten really into hockey and other stuff, but TJ's been absolutely dialed in. Like half my news just comes from him, so he'll be able to help us a lot here. But I've done a little bit of getting myself up to speed, and we're going to talk about just kind of like who we thought the big winners were, losers were, some macro expectations for this season. We're not really going to get too far into the weeds just because this is the first time we're talking baseball here on this show. But we're going to run through each division and just kind of give our thoughts, our takes, and I think we're going to start the AL East. So what are you seeing there? I know the Orioles, that's your team, that's your division.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can start with the Orioles. I can start with the Blue Jays, I guess. Obviously, the Blue Jays are a big spender this offseason. So are the Red Sox and so are the Orioles. So I would say a lot of those teams are trying to push the chips in. The Orioles coming off a really terrible season where they underperformed, had a lot of injuries. It makes sense. I watched all 162 games. It was not pretty. At least with the Blue Jays, they made a couple really good additions. Even after losing Bo Bichette. Yeah, they lost Bo Bichette, but they went out and they picked up a really good frontline starter in Dylan Cease.
Third baseman, I know nothing about. Okamoto?
Yeah, so apparently Okamoto is a really good defensive third baseman. There's been doubts about his hitting. I don't know much about him.
So he just came over from Japan, the MPB?
Yes.
Wow, I never heard of him. Nice.
But obviously they're trying to replace Bo Bichette with someone in the infield who can play.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of teams have been doing really well with players coming over from Japan. So I think they might as well tap into that market. Like,
yeah,
I think all teams should.
Absolutely. So you're expecting
the Yankees,
kind of a bloodbath here as usual in the AL East, like a lot of good teams, competitive teams. Yeah. Yankees?
I would say so. The only team that I haven't really seen take a step forward is the Rays.
But they always manage to like be competitive somehow.
Yeah, and they've been involved in a lot of trades this offseason. I couldn't tell you half the people that they picked up. But the Rays are always gonna do Rays things.
Yeah. What do you think of the Yankees?
I guess the Yankees, a lot of people, including myself, are saying that they're just running it back with the same roster.
Flip
But
it.
at the same time, that roster won 94 games last year.
True.
They hit a lot of home runs. They're going to hit a lot of home runs again. I think there's still some talks about potentially moving Jazz, which would be really interesting.
He's interesting. You know I love him, but he's
I
interesting.
can't say I see that happening, but obviously that rotation is going to be disgusting. We'll see if Garrett Cole comes back
Rotation's
as,
good. Let
as
me
the
pull
same
that
guy.
up.
But they have guys like Will Warren. They have Yarborough, right?
They had that new kid also at the end of last season, Schlittler, who was really good.
Schlittler, yeah.
Yeah, Max Fried,
And
Carlos
that's
Rodon, Garrett Cole, Cam Schlittler,
Yeah.
Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, Luis Hill as the 6 and 7. Jesus, man. Yeah, holy shit.
yeah. I mean, so God forbid a lot of guys get injured.
They
But
probably
I guess
will, but they're backed
otherwise,
up there. Yeah.
yeah. But otherwise, they have a really solid rotation and so much depth.
Yeah, I mean Trent Grisham, I don't think he's going to be Bellinger. I think they got some thin bats here. I think things are a little fragile on the offense. That's what I'm worried about. But the pitching is disgusting, and like that can take you a long way, especially if you got one or two guys who don't need to hit well but can get on base with walks, and you got Judge who can bat them in, and you can only give up 1-2 runs a game. You can win a lot of games, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2. Like I was low on the
Yeah.
Yankees because they're just running it back, but now that I'm putting it together, that's a scary team. They can make a threat.
And I mean, looking at their run differential from last year, they're I think second in the MLB
Yeah.
because they're able to hit
So
they're
the
able to hit
narratives
home
might
runs.
be, you're saying the narratives might be a little bit over negative about like, oh, they're just running it back. This is stupid. Like they could just be good. Okay. Like it's yeah.
Yeah.
AL Central.
And then
what do you got there?
I was gonna focus
sorry.
on just slightly on the Orioles. Just
Okay,
slightly on
yeah,
the
yeah.
Orioles. I think the Orioles have had a really great offseason. With just one more pitcher, I think the Orioles will be set. Obviously, guys like Trevor Rogers, who were just lights out second half of last year.
Not
A lot of
lucky.
people don't realize, but Kyle Bradish has had about a 2.5 ERA for the past 2 seasons. He's been hurt
Yeah,
a
he
little
hasn't been
bit,
too
but I think that's he's going to keep it up.
Yeah, I agree.
They
I like that
re-signed
O's
Zach
rotation.
Eflin. Yeah, they re-signed Zach Eflin on a 1-year deal, which is kind of questionable given last year, but this is
He's still
Zach
Eflin.
Eflin that we're talking about.
Yeah. Strike three. So you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Obviously, the trade of Grayson Rodriguez for 1 year of Taylor Ward is a bit interesting.
But I think it's going to come down to like those Alonso and Ward. Like, if those two pan out, I really like your rotation, like you're saying. And if your two power bats pan out, like this could be a very good team. Very good team.
Definitely. All right, so moving on to the AL Central.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people look at the AL Central and they see, oh, Tigers just picked up Framber Valdez, probably the best 1-2 punch in the MLB. With Scooble, obviously.
What did he just get? 32 mil instead of 19 or something, right? From the arbitration.
Yep.
What do we expect? That's kind of exactly what we expected.
And whoever signs him for $1 billion is going to be the luckiest team. So
are you aligned here? Like I kind of every division, the Dodgers, like they don't fucking count. They're playing a different sport. I see the Tigers as being the furthest separated from everyone else in their division.
Definitely, and I kind of see the Guardians, Royals, and White Sox all in kind of the same
just battling around
tier.
500.
In that division. They're going to battle. The White Sox have had the best offseason they've had in a few years.
You like the White Sox
and I
this
think
year, right?
I think people are actually excited to go to White Sox games in the South Side of Chicago for like the first time in a long time.
Because what's his name?
So I think
Japanese
it's cool.
guy. What's his name? The third baseman.
What's that?
What's the Japanese guy they just got? His name?
Oh, Murakami. He's a first baseman.
He's getting a lot of love in the city of Chicago already. Like he's getting the fan base hyped up. I've seen a lot, so that's cool. I think they could win 70+ games, which is just the right direction. At least I agree with you.
Yeah, I see it.
But
I definitely
not too
see
much
them.
going on there in the Central. Anything else you want to talk about, or move to the West?
No, we can move to the West.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think of the West here?
Yeah, I love the Mariners.
Yeah.
They were the first team to sign someone in the offseason, which was Josh Naylor for 5 years. That's super worth it. They got a great hitter in Josh Naylor. Um, I think they recently made a couple more moves. Did they get Brendan Donovan? Is that correct?
Yeah. They're the ones who got Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, they got
I love
probably
Brendan
one of
Donovan.
the better utility
They just got
infielders in the
two guys who
MLB.
can walk well too. Like they just get on base in multiple ways. And the Mariners have a lot of guys who can walk. It's scary. It's scary.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of what we talked about last season is kind of transferring over to this year. Their rotation is just getting better and better. It's the same
So
five or
gross.
six guys. It's the
So
same five or
gross.
six guys all the time for the past 3 years. Brian
They're
Wu took
all
a huge step up
workhorses.
last year. Yeah, they're all dogs. So I'm excited for the Mariners.
I do like the
I,
Astros though. That's the only reason I didn't say like
I do.
I think that's not as big of a separation as the Tigers in their division. I like the Astros.
I do. I think there's a lot of good pitching to look at in that division.
Even the Rangers.
Astros picking up MI is huge. Um, and obviously they have what Hunter Brown. Losing Framber is
Was
big.
Hunter Brown
Um,
Cy Young runner up? Cy Young?
I don't think
Sorry, Cy
runner
Young
up,
runner.
maybe Cy Young 3 behind Crochet, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, he was 2.43 ERA, 206 strikeouts, 1.03 WHIP. That's
Yeah,
dog numbers. That's dog
it's
numbers.
great. And Altuve is going to do Altuve things.
Yeah, he
A
had a bit
lot
of
of people
down year,
forget that
right?
they got Carlos Correa back, which is big. Halfway through
I
last
don't know.
season.
I think Altuve might be continuing his decline personally, but he'll still be a good
It's
fielder.
it's a gradual decline. He's such a good ball
Yeah,
player,
true.
and he kills the Orioles, so
He'll
I
be
have to watch him.
serviceable. He'll be serviceable. Actually, he picked it
Yeah.
up in the second half of last season, though, a little bit. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a good team. I think they'll win some games. And the Rangers, you said you liked what they did in the offseason. So this is just a more competitive division. I mean, I even think the A's and the Angels are going to continue. The Angels are going to step up a little bit. They're probably the worst team in the division. I think the A's are going to maybe have a winning season. So this is a much more competitive
The
division.
Yeah, the Angels made some very interesting and possibly questionable offseason
I don't think they made any
moves,
good,
getting
great
guys.
decisions.
They got Alex Manoah, which is really weird.
Some upside, maybe.
Making that trade with the Orioles to get 4 years of Grayson Rodriguez makes sense.
But like with what
Um,
you else you have on that team, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I think we kind of glanced over the Rangers, but I really like their rotation.
Yeah.
Obviously with DeGrom, he's gonna shove, of course. And then Evaldi had a really underrated year last year, and so did Mackenzie Gore, who they just traded 5 prospects for.
I
So
love I
um,
love Gore. I do think the rest of their guys are a little thin. Like DeGrom and
mhm.
Evaldi, can you get
They're
that many
young.
innings out of
They're
them?
very young.
Or I'm saying those two
What
guys are
was that?
super old. DeGrom and Evaldi are super old, and injuries are a concern with them. Getting a lot of innings are a concern. They'll give you good innings when they're out there, but like I think they definitely could have a really good rotation, but it might be a little thin in my opinion, especially when you got Kumar Rocker back there. Do they still have who was the other Vanderbilt guy that played with him, like the top pick or whatever? Jack Leader?
Jack Leiter.
Jack Leader, yeah. They
Is
could
that who you're talking about?
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he's still there. Like there, I don't love the pitching depth, but obviously if it's working how it should, it's a very good rotation. So should
And
we?
then
Sorry, what?
speaking of no speaking of no pitching depth, I was going to talk a little bit about the A's.
Yeah, that's pretty
Fantastic
thin.
lineup. Love Nick Kurtz. Brent Rooker, obviously, they just signed Jacob Wilson for 7 years on a very team friendly deal, which is huge. Obviously, they have Lawrence Butler, Soderstrom, a lot of
Yeah,
guys
I
who are
love
just
that
going to be
Jacob
around
Wilson deal. Was
until,
great. What was it like?
yeah, they'll
70
all be
mil per
around
year
until
or crazy value?
2032.
What was the value? It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was 7 years, 70 mil.
Yeah, 10 mil per year. Wow, awesome for that bad. I think
Essentially,
the A's, you
essentially,
don't
Sam decided.
follow NBA that closely, but the A's are kind of like the Utah Jazz. They're going to be a top five offense who also is probably going to give up too many runs to win games.
Probably
I
their
think,
rotation's terrible.
yeah, I think they're going to
Um,
do that.
should we move on to the NL?
Yeah. What's
All
up
right.
first?
So
West
do
or
you want to talk about the NL East a little bit?
NL East? Yeah, I mean, because this is right here. I think it's kind of a chalk prediction, but the Braves, I expect them to bounce back. I think they only won like 74 games or something last year.
76, yeah.
76.
They
So
won less games than the Marlins, which is shocking.
it's a little surprising. But yeah, I mean, I expect them to bounce back, win 90 plus games here, do a good job. The Mets, I think, are a little fluky. A lot of predictions have them winning 90 plus games. I think I don't see it. I think the Mets are they're a good team, but I don't think that when you build a team that the way they do, and it's always like kind of you're just putting pieces together and it's always shifting. It's hard to just glue and go fucking 1 to 162. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I
they
would
might
say I
struggle.
see that. I see your side, but also I want to push back a little bit. I think that what the Mets needed most was to get some of the guys out of the locker room who had the biggest influence and then replace them with other guys
Alonzo,
who,
Nimmo.
yeah, so they got Alonso out of there, they got Nimmo out of there, they got Edwin Diaz out of there. And then they bring in guys who are just, I think, true baseball players. Marcus Simeon, they got Bo Bichette. These are also really good infielders. They've taken chances on people like Luis Robert. We'll see what happens with that. And then the rotation has taken a massive jump with Freddie Peralta. So
I see I see the upside. I also see the situation where all three of those batters you named have a sub 700 OPS. I see that. Robert, Bichette,
I
and
see it.
who was the other one?
I can't say I see Bichette not
Bichette's the
hitting,
thinnest
but
one, but like even he had a really bad start last year, didn't he? Like
mm,
yeah, so like they could have some issues there if they get cold. But I see the
yeah.
upside. Yeah, they made a lot of deals. You're right about that.
Um,
Phillies are running
and
it
then
back.
yeah, Phillies. You can talk about the Phillies if you want.
I don't know how much. I think they'll be good. It's the same team as usual.
They're the
Whatever.
same team. It's
Did
the
they
same team.
lose? They lost Ranger. That's it. They still have Wheeler, Nola.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Wheeler,
But
Nola,
and
and
then
then
Sanchez,
also some of those young guys. They have like Mick
Tyler,
Abel.
Tyler Phillips, Christopher Sanchez, right? Some
Yeah,
other.
all those
Okay.
guys
Yeah.
are still there.
Yeah. Marlins and Nationals aren't worth talking about. NL Central is like literally like you want to talk about the Pirates and I have some Reds and Cardinals to talk about, but yeah, Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, I'll glance over the Brewers and the Cubs. Brewers didn't have much of an offseason,
I think they'll
but
both
the
be
Cubs
like
obviously.
84, 85 win teams. I don't think the Brewers are going to be
I
as
see
good as
that.
last year. And yeah, the Cubs.
I think the Cubs are great offensively. Um, Getting Bregman's a huge piece of that. But I guess we'll have to see.
This division is
That
going to
that
be a
division,
battle, man. I like every team
it
other
is
than the
going to be a battle.
Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about the Cardinals a little if you want.
Yeah, I guess before you talk about the Pirates upside, I'll explain like we like every other team. We just said the Cubs and Brewers are good teams. You love the Pirates. I love the Reds. The Cardinals, they have nothing, man. This is the thinnest, like they do have a really exciting infield potentially in the future with JJ Weatherholt and Mason Wynn could be like the best duo infield, middle infield in the MLB in a few years, but like there's just not enough talent on this team. It's going to be a rebuild year. It's going to be a talent development year. Their pitching rotations like relying on Matthew Liberatore having another legacy season, which is not going to happen. I think they're going to lose 100 games probably, especially with four
Yeah,
other decent teams in the Central this year. But Pirates, what are you seeing at them?
yeah. I mean, I love what the Pirates did in the offseason. They got some hitters in their lineup to back up a really solid pitching staff. Making a trade for Brandon Lau is huge.
Good bat.
He hit, I think he hit 30 plus home runs last year.
Yeah, he's always a really
Um,
good. I think he's a splits hitter usually, but he's a good batter.
that's big. They still have guys like Spencer Horowitz, O'Neill Cruz.
High strikeout, but high
So some
pop.
Yeah, some decent bats in that lineup.
And
Brian
then
Reynolds, and
Connor
then
Griffin,
they
right?
also went out. Yeah, and they have Connor Griffin coming up. He's going to play shortstop. Currently, they have Nick Gonzalez at shortstop, but I
And
guess we'll
you said they
see.
got who? Who were you saying they got?
Yeah, so they actually paid Ryan O'Hearn, which, as an Orioles fan and a Ryan O'Hearn fan,
I love
I'm a big
Ryan O'Hearn.
supporter
Yeah,
of.
he's a dog, man.
He absolutely rakes off of righties. You're gonna see that all
He's just
season.
consistent too. Like he's
Um,
consistent.
and he's just a ball player. He's a ball player.
It's
And
very
then
good.
not much to say about that pitching staff. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
Skeens, Jared Jones coming off of injury.
Strike through.
Bubba Chandler kind of came up
Bubba
late last
Chandler, yeah,
season.
another young. Yeah.
And then obviously Mitch
It's
Keller.
young. It's young,
Great.
you know, which is always concerning, but I think they'll be good. I like the Pirates. I agree. I like the Reds. Also, like I love their infielder, their young infielders, Noel Marte, and like
Yeah,
all those guys. Like they're just a fun team. They're kind of like a Cinderella, I feel like, to root for. I think they'll be pretty good,
definitely.
maybe make a playoff push. And in the West, fuck the
I
Dodgers. I'm
mean,
not talking about the Dodgers. They
speaking of the Dodgers, no one likes the Dodgers right now. I'm included.
Yeah, that's why I haven't seen. So I've been in baseball depression since like I stopped watching halfway through the playoffs when I accepted reality, and I haven't like paid attention since because it's just like what the fuck. But I'm finally getting back into it now. But like I've just been in Dodgers induced depression. But I love the
Yeah,
Giants. I think we're gonna be good this year.
but the only thing I will say about the Dodgers is everyone expected the exact same thing last year. And for the first half of the season,
It was,
they were not the best team in baseball.
but like they were still so good while half their roster was dead that it's like, or is
True,
that a
true.
bad thing or a good thing?
There's that
And
side of
now
it.
they're just even better. You know what I mean? Like it's scary. I
I
like the
mean,
Giants though. I love our roster. What do you think of the Giants?
any team with 4 or 5 Hall of Famers is going to play well.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
So I guess the
If you want,
conversation's like who's coming in second here, right?
yeah. I mean, you can focus on the Padres and the Giants if you'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Giants. I'm kind of like a negative fan usually sometimes when it comes to off-season stuff, but I like what we have here. I mean, I love Tony Vitello. I think that's the single biggest change. I thought Bob Melvin was a little like soft. I don't know. He was an okay manager. He's just a little bit old school in his ways, a little soft. I like Tony Vitello. Like he's younger, he's excited, like he's got that broadcaster feel to him. He's been there, you know, in the college baseball playoffs doing that. Like he's gonna get the guys fired up. And then also, like we have a great team across the board. You got Helio Ramos in left, Bader and Lee in center and right, and then your infield: Chapman, Adames, Arias, and Devers. Chapman, Adames, great on the fucking left in terms of fielding. Arias, contact bad. Devers, power bad. Chapman and Adames are inconsistent bats, but if Chapman has another good year, that'll be great.
I can say the only thing I worry about with the Giants is that right side with Devers and
And Arias,
Arias in
not
the
great
infield.
fielding.
Those are negative defenders in the MLB. Those are not good
But we have
defensive
such
players.
good
If they,
fielding with Bader, Bailey,
yeah,
Chapman,
I
and
agree.
Adames
Yeah.
that like.
So if they can hit their way into the lineup, then that's their job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then pitching is scary. That's the scary part. Logan Webb is like I have a heart attack every time he takes the mound because everyone hits the ball 100 miles an hour, and he still just like has a 2 ERA. And then Robbie Ray is like an uncle. Tyler Malley is not good. I'm sorry. This is a guy I usually fade on his outs totals.
what's up with Verlander?
Is he in free agent right now, or did he get signed? I thought he got signed.
I'm not sure. He definitely wasn't signed, but I don't know if he's a free agent.
Giants predicted to bring back Verlander. And then
Okay,
10
so
days ago,
he's a free agent now.
I don't know. 10 days ago, news says land with a new team. 4 days ago, come back. I don't know. Fuck Verlander.
Hey,
Adrian Hauser is a
hey,
guy
maybe
sorry, what?
maybe they go out, they get Scherzer, add him to the Unk rotation.
Unk
I don't
rotation
hate
did
it.
work last year.
Hey,
That's all I know. The Giants always find a way to like squeeze out some life out of some unks, bro. It's awesome. Like the Longo season, the Legacy last Posey season,
yep, yep.
Brandon, holy shit, Crawford. Yeah, but Adrian Hauser are four. That's kind of one guy that I think is going to be crucial to like if he has a good solid year, he's a 5, 6 innings, a couple runs a game guy. Like that's going to stabilize our shit because Malley and Raup and Birdsong are, and then Webb and Ray are kind of scary. The rotation's scary. But I like the Giants, man. The bats is usually the issue with the Giants, and the bats are there this year. Our pitching coaching, our pitching development has been good. So I like the Giants a lot, and I'm down on the Diamondbacks and Padres. I think we're going to make a run for second and go to the playoffs.
Sure. I could definitely see it. I think the best way to end out this MLB session is each of us will say our biggest upside potential for this season and then our biggest, I guess, loser of the offseason, downside potential for the
All right,
others.
yeah. So you go first.
Yeah, so I mean, when I'm thinking about upside potential, my mind goes straight to the Mariners and the Blue Jays. These are teams who were obviously in the playoffs last year. They played each other. They went to 7 games. These are some gritty baseball teams with a lot of talent. And then I think we'll agree on the teams that are going to struggle this year. I would say the Twins. They're kind of entering another rebuild, which is
Kind of
a bit interesting. We'll see what happens with them, and then also uh, the Cardinals, who are doing kind of their first rebuild in a long time. It's really early stages of it, so I guess we'll have to see over the next few years.
Yeah. I'm on the same page with the Cardinals. I already kind of talked about like I just think they're gonna stink it up this year. And then biggest upside is like I said, pretty chalk take, but Braves, they're gonna win 15 to 20 more games than they did last year. They're gonna bounce back. They're gonna be a playoff team. And I don't buy the Mets and Phillies being totally like 90-win teams. So that clears up some wins for the Braves. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I mean, got pretty in depth there. Said we won it, but covered a lot of baseball. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. Thank you for
Awesome.
hopping on the show, Mr. TJ. We'll hopefully have you on here again. Yeah.
Most definitely.
All right. All right. Cool. So just me now, but before we wrap up or I wrap up here, I'm gonna get into some NBA picks for tonight for Saturday's games. Do some live analysis here on the podcast and break down what I've got on my card and give you guys some picks to trail. So first, looking at the games, we got Nets Wizards. It's kind of a stinker. I was looking at the Nets or the Wizards side here because I think they're kind of the better team as of late, and I didn't really understand why the Nets are -4.5, -5. But right now, I mean, Bilal Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, and Alex Sarr are all questionable. So probably waiting on some news there. I'm not taking it yet. It's 4:30 a.m. Eastern right now, 4:30 p.m. where I am. So a little early, but if you see that the Wizards are full go and they're still grabbing 4 or 5 points, I don't mind them there. Rockets Thunder, I don't really have anything. I might cook up a parlay and post that on Twitter, but I don't have anything for that yet. That's kind of a good game though, one that's worth watching, kind of the marquee game here. Mavs Spurs, not really touching that. Big -10.5 spread. The first game here that I've got some picks for is the Jazz versus the Magic. So I'm taking Jalen Suggs to have over 1.5 steals at +110 at Bet365. I don't see this market up on other books yet, but Jalen Suggs, I mean, he's going against the Jazz here. He just came off a triple double, so he's obviously involved in the offense. He's back from injury. The Jazz just coughed the ball up. They're kind of sloppy. Keyshawn George is still one of his issues is turnovers. And if you look at the stats, the Magic, obviously good defensive team, and a lot of the turnovers from the Jazz are coming from their guards, and a lot of the turnovers or steals for the Magic are going to their guards. So Jalen Suggs is in a good position as a defensive player to get some of those balls. His recent game logs are 3-1-1, 3-0, 2-0-1, 3-0-2, blah, 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 blah. If you go back on the season, I think it's got a 17 out of 30 or 18 out of 30 hit rate. So you're obviously getting better than the implied odds of +110, just more like 14 or 13 over 30. So that's my first pick. That's a half unit just because steals are kind of a random event and I haven't had too much success with them in the past, so I'm not upgrading that. That's going to be a hat to win a half unit. And then going into the next game here, we've got the Hornets and the Hawks. So this is one that I kind of looked at first and I was like, why are the Hornets only -2? Like the Hawks aren't that good of a team. The Hornets are buzzing right now. Little pun. They're won 8 in a row. And then I was looking into some more advanced data to kind of figure out how I wanted to attack this game. And the Hornets are, like, even over the last 10 games, even over the last 7, 8 during their win stretch, have been turning over the ball, like, terribly. Like, they have some of the highest turnover rates, turnover percentage, lowest assist to turnover ratio in the NBA over that stretch. Meanwhile, Atlanta's, like, kind of taking care of the ball well, which sometimes this team has been thought of as a sloppy, too quick of a team, but they've been taking care of the ball. They're like number 3, I think, in turnovers, and they're first in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio is like 2.4, way above anyone else over the last 10. So I kind of, understand why Atlanta is only +2 here, but this is, anyways, like the Hornets are shooting so hot. So the way I want to attack this and kind of attack the angle of Atlanta getting extra possessions is Dyson Daniels. So I started looking at Dyson Daniels game logs, and he's gone over 6.5 assists in like just over half his games. His line's 6.5 plus 100. But what I'm thinking here is the ball's going to get coughed up a lot. There's a clear turnover discrepancy. The Hornets are sloppy with it. Do Dyson Daniel getting steals, because I mean he's the great barrier thief. He's the head of chaos on their defense. He's the one who kind of spurs that for the Hawks. Does that correlate with his assists? And after doing some research, they're super highly correlated. So both of those. There's 2 steals and 7 assists. I've hit in 16 of the last 30 since December. But in 12 of the 16 games that he had 7 assists, he had 2 steals. In 12 of the 16 games that he had 2 steals, he had 7 assists. So it's clearly correlated. And I did some math, and it's got like a plus 0.51, I think, assists per steal. And so there's a clear correlation here. Between him getting steals and then pushing the ball up the floor and them scoring in transition. And so I've got 2 plays here. This is one of my favorite bets. It's going to be Dyson Daniels over 6.5 assists at plus 100 to win a half unit. And then we're going to ladder it up with a 2-legger over 6.5 assists and over 1.5 steals, which is paying plus 190 at Bet365. So I'm playing both of those to win half a unit. So that's kind of a full 1-unit play. That's one of my best bets tonight. Him to be at the head of facilitating chaotic transition offense. Another angle I'm looking at here in which game is it? No, that's it for the Hornets and Hawks. Oh no, sorry, that's not it for the Hornets and Hawks. Another angle I'm looking at here is Onyeka Okongwu under 15.5 points. So if you look at the stats, like since Moose has been, facilitating or starting at center for Charlotte, like he's just been absolutely locked down against every center. I just faded Alperen Şengün, which went well, like his points, rebounds, and assists against Moose. He's a great defender. Like he's just locked down. And so I'm expecting Onyeka Okongwu to maybe get pushed out, rely on his 3-ball a little bit, but he's also questionable, so he might not be full go. He might not get full minutes. And so, there's just a lot of questions here. Like he's going to be relying on volatile shots from deep. He's going to be he might not have full minutes, and he's not really going over this number that often. He's pretty spiky. Like when he does, he's usually going well over it. So I kind of like this 15.5 number here, and you're getting minus 105 at Bet365, and like other books have minus 130, minus 135. So pretty clear discrepancy on the EV there with that line. So grab Onyeka Okongwu to have under 15.5 points at minus 105. That's going to be 0.75 units. That's more of a strong lean for me. One more just lean here is the Lakers, minus 2.5. I don't really understand the lineup discrepancy in this line. Like I understand the concern of Luka being out and that they haven't been that good in like the 8 games that Luka's been out, but let me just read these lineups. So point guards, you've got Brandon Podziemski versus Austin Reeves. Clearly Austin Reeves. Shooting guard, DeAnthony Melton versus Marcus Smart. This is like the only one that I think kind of tilts in Warriors' favor. Other than maybe Moses Moody versus Jake LaRavia. But even then, Marcus Smart's a lockdown defender, and, he's coming into a higher minutes situation than he's usually getting. So it's not the same as what he's been all season. Then Guy Santos versus LeBron James. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Draymond Green at center versus DeAndre Ayton. Like, there's just a clear lineup discrepancy across the board here. And so even though, like, the Lakers have been a little sloppy, I mean, minus 2.5, I think they'll take care of business. I'm not really high on my Warriors right now. That's going to be a half unit play just because, I don't know, the Lakers are a little, volatile without Doncic, and spreads and overs are usually the most efficient markets. And so I urge, you usually will be expressing your biggest edge in niche prop markets and typically want to size those as your most confident bets. Couple more, I got 2 more picks here. I'm going to go to the Tumani Kamara. Yeah, okay, yeah, these are both in the Grizzlies Trailblazers game. So first up, got Tumani Kamara. So the Trailblazers and Grizzlies just played last night. This is the second of a back-to-back between these two teams. And I took Tumani Kamara in like a back-to-back spot, I think about a week ago, something like that. And it's because this guy has a crazy motor. Like he's a defense first player. He's not really a prolific scorer, but he's going to be on the floor. And he's increased his minutes every single back to back. He plays more minutes in the second than he did in the first. And even though he led the team in minutes last game, I'm not really scared that he's going to play under 30 minutes. Like I think he's still going to get minutes. He's still going to play hard. He's going to be on the floor enough to put points up. And he's going 15. He's going 15 plus in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the last 9. So that's, that plus 172, which is the odds here. You're getting great value. And like I said, he should be on the floor. This is a good spot for a guy in the back to back. And also he is kind of like Dyson Daniels, a chaos guy. And he gets some points in transition. He causes steals, he causes turnovers, and he's not as much of a facilitator as Dyson. He's often actually going to be the one finishing those. And so he should be able to get points against a Grizzlies team who's been turning the ball over way too much and is now even thinner than they were, before the trade deadline. So I expect Tumani Kamara take a little bit of a plus odds shot there, strong lean to win 0.75 units, plus 172, 15 points. And then the last bet here is my second best bet. This is also going to be a 1 unit ladder. We're going to go with Ty Jerome. I've taken him 3 times in a row since he came back from injury. He's been on a minutes limitation at 20 all 3 times, and he's still gone over his assists easily, over his points easily. He would have hit his plus ladders. And so again, I'm going to be backing his points and his assists. And he didn't play the first of the back-to-back, so I'm assuming he's going to be playing here. He's probably going to be on a limits limitation again, but that he's just the one facilitating this offense. He's shooting hot. He's been electric so far since coming back, and the Grizzlies don't really have that much going for them. So he's in a good spot, especially against the Trailblazers team that can run up the pace, run up the scoreboard. They got a total of 240 here. To get 15 points, you're getting minus 118, and to get 6 assists, I'm getting a little greedy here. Instead of 4.5, we're going plus 164 to get 6 plus assists. I believe those are still the lines that are up. I got these a couple hours ago, so I'm going to check really quick. We're still getting the same lines, but it should be. Yeah, Ty Jerome, you're getting, I said minus 118. Yeah, so you're getting minus 109 for Ty Jerome at DraftKings, 15 points, and you are getting, for 6 assists, yeah, plus 164. All right, there you go. So wrap it up. We got Jalen Suggs over 1.5 steals, plus 110 for half a unit. Lakers minus 2.5, minus 110 for half a unit. Onyeka Okongwu under 15.5 points, minus 105 for 3/4 of a unit. Tumani Kamara 15 plus, or Kamare, I think is how you say it. 15 plus points, plus 172 to win 3/4 of a unit. Then you've got Ty Jerome 15 plus points to win a half unit and 6 plus assists to win a half unit, and Dyson Daniels over 6.5 assists to win a half unit, and then over 6.5 assists plus over 1.5 steals to win a half unit. Mostly plus money on the card there, a couple near minuses, but the usual spreading out across a few different markets, spreads, unders, overs. Good card. Hopefully we go up. So that should wrap it up. For the picks, got a lot of picks today on the show. I mean, we went from college basketball at the start. Me and Mongo each gave out 5 or more, I think. And then we got into the Super Bowl. TJ and I gave out a few. Talked about baseball. No, not really any betting there, just macro stuff. And then right here, got about 8 individual bets, but 6 players I'm targeting, or 6 bets I'm targeting here on the card for the NBA tonight. So hopefully we have some success and I can make you guys some money, and hopefully you guys stuck around and enjoyed this week's show. I'm glad that we're back. We're going to be back doing this. I'm not totally sure what the schedule is going to be now. I think we might be switching to this kind of like Friday, or record Friday night and then we'll release Saturday morning kind of schedule. It seems to work pretty well for having stuff available in markets to look at for the weekend, especially with Saturday college basketball. And I think I'll continue to have some guests on. Tommy should be back next week. Nothing's wrong there. We should be back to normal. But we're probably going to continue to have guests on because I thought that was good and enjoyable, and thought the show went really well this week. So I appreciate everyone for sticking around. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.